Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk Careers. My name is Ms.V, and I am going to be introducing you to the incredible Sepideh Samadi in a minute. Today, we are going to be talking to all of you watching on all of our different platforms. A big shout out to LinkedIn, a big shout out to our YouTube viewers, and to our Facebook viewers. We're going to be talking about preparing undergraduates for future careers and having this conversation about how we can be helping them. So we're not just going to be talking about it, we're also going to be sharing some incredible strategies that are working. Sepideh Samadi is the career advisor and lecturer at the British University in Dubai. Sepideh, welcome to Let's Talk Careers and welcome to our live audiences all over social media.
Thank you so much. Hi, Maria, and hi, everyone. And I'm very happy and thank you for inviting me for this interview. And I hope that our talk will give clearer impact, clearer view, and let's say open up a new perspective to especially undergraduate students and even to parents whom have students or whom have, let's say, kids that they are studying in university. And definitely they need to know how they can uh, let's say start a new let's say chapter of their life, which is finding the right job for themselves.
Thank you so much. That is excellent to hear. I know I have so many questions, so we're just going to jump into it because I'm really conscious of everyone's time. Jumping into this conversation, my first question, Sepideh, is in your experience, what are some of the challenges that you see regularly when you're working with undergraduate students, both in the office as a career advisor and perhaps sometimes in the lecture hall as a lecturer?
Well, to be honest with you, Mia, when I started my career as being a teacher. So I was always thinking that no, when students come to class, they have to just study the theories and they have to only improve mainly themselves from the academic, let's say, perspective and point of view. But as I changed my role and become a career advisor, I realized that knowing theory is not enough. Okay, fine. Students get to know the theory behind a specific, for example, field, especially the program that they are studying or whatever. But the challenge that they face is exactly once they reach to their year of study, which is preparing themselves to graduate and then enter the workforce, right? Workforce, for example, market. So the challenge that they face was the first challenge that basically they faced was um, to find what job would be suitable for them, especially because I have chosen this specific program. For example, a student choose a computer science program, which is the concentration of artificial intelligence. They don't exactly know what job is relevant to this field of study. You know what I mean? For example, when you hear the word artificial intelligence, you think that, okay, fine, the job requires students to create robots. And that is something that students think that, okay, fine, when I want to find a job, I need to, let's say, have let's say a job, or a company has to hire me and give me a task that is exactly related to creating robots. And I think that is due to the way of understanding of students, especially when they are studying at universities. They think that the academic qualification is the only thing that can help them to find a proper job, which is correct. It is not wrong, but they need to know other skills that they have to develop and improve in themselves. So for example, some undergraduate students may be highly engaged and proactive in seeking career services. And that is why basically we are here in universities to help them. While, for example, others are, let's say, they are not that much engaged and they are disengaged and they are very passive. So as a career advisor, I need to find different types of ways to make students to be engaged and find their strengths, their weakness, and exactly know what they are looking for. Because what I also noticed is that students come up with they have different types of personalities. Some
Mm.
students, they are good with office works, while some students, they are, for example, very good in terms of interpersonal skills. So they think, I mean, I think that, for example, some roles such as sales or marketing would be more suitable for them than sitting behind the computer and do the codings, yeah, and all these things. So I think the first thing that students need to know is to first know their strengths, their weakness, their personality, whether the field of study that they are choose, whether the program that they have choose is matched with the personality that they have, and whether that can help them to find the right career for themselves. Well, there are definitely other types of challenges which me as a career advisor also, I'm also basically facing, but it's one of them can be the other challenge which I'm facing, for example, right now, is that students are very demotivated. So they think that they can just come to class, just do the study, and they think that, okay, fine, as soon as I get my degree finished, that is, I have to just sit down and wait for companies to approach me. That is what I just told you about the student engagement, which we need students to be engaged when it comes to career advising, when it comes for them to search for a proper job for themselves.
I mean, you're mentioning some incredible insights, definitely things that I think are not just important to remember, but essential to address as well. But as I'm hearing you talk, and I'm very conscious that you're on the higher education side of things, I wonder, in your experience, would you say that the challenges exist in higher education probably because students are coming out of high schools and secondary schools with that mindset that, number one, the degree is going to get me the job. And number two, they didn't really ever take the time or have the time given to them during their education to learn about the importance of career discovery, to unwrap what their interests are, unwrap
Mhm.
what their strengths are, and really learn more about the world of work. Would you say, Sepideh, that it could be an easier experience for career advisors at higher education and for students if in the high school stage we could do a little bit more for our students?
Yes, exactly. This is what another point that I wanted to raise is that I don't know if I should say unfortunately or fortunately, but when students are studying at high school, the first thing that comes to all teachers and even the school's mind is that what university students have choose, which
Mm,
program they have to study. While, okay, fine, you are guiding your students toward the right program to study at university, but are you looking at it from the long term perspective? Do you
mm,
think that the program that they are going to study at the university is going to lead them to find the right job after 4 years? Have you ever thought of this? This is what basically what I didn't. Anyway, in my generation, it was like this. Maybe right now everything has changed because right now, even the expectation of students even in high school has changed, Maria. And I see a lot of interesting perspective and insights from high school students that most of them, they keep saying that, oh, my father will open up a business for me. Okay, fine, that is perfect. It means that you have entrepreneurial skills or you want to be an entrepreneur, but you know how to run a business. Or another says that, okay, I want to study, for example, to be a medical doctor. Okay, that is perfect, you need to study, but then do you know how to search for a job later on once you are done with your degree? Do you know how to do interviews? I mean, how to, for example, participate in interviews, how to answer questions? Because don't think that when you become a doctor, that is finished. No, you need to know how hospitals are working. So all of these things, I think, are important when students are in higher education, when
mm,
students are even at schools. So I believe that high school career advisors can play a very important role in helping students to prepare them for their higher education and future careers. Basically,
mm,
they can build the foundation. You know what I mean? From the beginning, while, for example, they are in high school. And one of the, for example, tips that I can give to schools career advisors is that they can introduce students to career exploration that they can, for example, have. Like they can encourage students to start exploring different careers and industries as soon as they enter to their, for example, grade, let's say 10, 11, and 12. And another one can, which I believe it's very important and can be a very, it can be a very important and essential help for us as a career advisors in higher education, is that they help them to develop career related soft skills. And what I suggest them is that they can give assignments to students, their projects, so they don't only focus on the academic perspective of their study or the subjects that they are learning, but they can, for example, do different types of project, which in that project they can come up with problem solving, which they can come up with creative critical thinking. So this can help students to better prepare themselves for their university and enter to the job market. So these are basically the insights and, well, hints that I think that in high schools they can give to students, especially their soft skill, because that is something that I think it requires them to improve and to be developed from very early stages.
Amazing. So much to remember. Now, I know that in my role as a careers practitioner, both when I was working in an institution and now working as a freelancer, going into different institutions across the country and in Oman, what I recognized is career development and career services. Number one is really evolving from the old idea of careers equals university applications to get a degree. And it's evolving into more of an in-depth service that helps students, or at least I'm hoping that it will also begin to evolve even more into a service that not only helps students understand post-secondary education, but also to understand more about the world of work from younger ages. Now, whenever I speak with career counselors or career advisors in high schools, often I'm told they'll do that when they get to university.
Mhm.
And I'm always questioning, well, how do how do you know that they do that? Number one. And number two, if we're sending students into university without giving them high quality guidance, what are the assumptions that we're making in terms of the confidence of a student, but also the awareness of what a career service entails? So I would like to really unwrap for high school counselors and parents and anyone watching right now what a career service looks like in a higher education institution like the British University in Dubai.
Sure. Actually, career service at the university, and especially here at BUD, what we basically provide to students are typically a set of resources and programs that we have designed to help students explore career options, develop job search strategies, and connect with potential employers actually. So there are few activities that we are doing, but it might be few in terms of number, but it is very in depth in terms of details. So one of the services that, for example, we give in the British University in Dubai is the career counseling and advising, which basically I'm doing it. So I often offer individual career counseling and advising sessions to students, whether on group, which can be on it can happen, for example, as a training or workshop to a group number of students, or on one-to-one sessions with students to discuss their career goals or explore different career options, and, for example, receiving guidance on how to do a job search and different hints on giving them on job search strategies. Other than this, the first step, other than finding what students goal in terms of career is the resume and cover letter reviews. So basically here in our center, we offer assistance in reviewing and improving students' resumes and cover letters, because most of them, they don't know what resume look like. What should they, and you know, the thing is that this is the first question that I always ask. And I am receiving the same question from students that, oh, Miss Sepideh, what should we write in our CV? We have never done any work. But I always tell them that, listen, CV is not about how many works you have done, but it's all about introducing yourself in a piece of paper. So I have to make sure that they are effective in showcasing their skills and experience to potential employers. Other than this, we basically provide resource for job search, such as job listing, career fairs, networking events, and these may also offer workshops and training sessions to help students to develop networking skills, which is very important. And I believe it is one of the key skills that the students can improve and develop on, and learn how to effectively use social media to build professional connection. I think LinkedIn can be one of the most important platform where students can learn how to create it. Because when you talk to them, they think that social media is mainly Instagram, TikTok, and whatever activity you do toward them, but they don't know that how important LinkedIn is. So basically, these are big and broad activities that we do in higher education institution in terms of giving student career services. And but however, it is not limited to only this one, which means that if, for example, any student come to me in person, yeah, and they want any kind of other type of advising or counseling, which is related to finding the right career and even to their academic performance, I'm available to them, because I look at it from both teaching perspective and how they can, for example, enter to a work market or job market. So these are the services basically that we give. Other than this, Maria, one something very interesting that right now in UAE, and definitely thanks to higher education, higher Ministry of Education, is that right now UAE in all universities, they are focusing on internship a lot, which can help students to apply for internship and provide valuable work experience and help students build up their professional networks. So that is basically a great help that universities are giving to students to start their career as being an intern, to see how real work environment is, how they can, basically it gives them a better picture of how you can, how the work environment looks like. So this is
Mm.
something that is right now becomes mandatory from higher Ministry of Education, that all universities basically right now have to follow. And we make sure that until and unless internship has not yet completed, students cannot graduate and enter to year 4. So that is why students, once they get their degree, at least they have some experience
Yes.
working as an intern in different companies.
That's a really very important component. One of the challenges that young people are facing, and it's one of the questions I hear often is, Ms.V, I can't get a job. They want experience, but how do they expect me to get experience
Exactly,
without
exactly.
having that first job? But let me ask you, Sepideh, if we kind of track back again to internships, would you say, because my concern as a practitioner is always, if we're waiting to do internships till when they get to university, is it almost a reactive experience? Because, like, for example, what happens to the student that spent 3 years studying at university and then suddenly does an internship and might realize, I think I'm in the wrong field? You know, how can you, or what type of strategies would you offer to a student that might come back to you saying, Mrs. Samadi, I think I'm in the wrong field. I mean, I'm happy I figured it out before looking for my first job, but I'm kind of scared now. What if I'm in the wrong degree?
Mhm.
Which is a common topic that we have. How would you approach that conversation?
Actually, talking about internship, and as I just said, we don't only ask students to start their internship while they are on their third year of study. As soon as any student after high school come to British University, and I believe that this is very I mean, this is something that all universities are practicing, is that as soon as they get the admission, from the first term we start giving them career advising work, I mean career advising, and also anything that is related to career development workshops. And other than that, we usually get connection. I mean, definitely, I mean, we all have a network of employers here. So we encourage even students who are in their first term, not even first year, first term, to search for part-time jobs or even internship. And even we offer something to them. Like, there is a company, X company, they approached us and they says that, okay, we have an internship open, could you please tell us if any students is interested, any student is interested to join us. So in this case, we first approach first term students to, and we, I mean, I tell them that, guys, please go ahead, give it a try. Even if they don't accept you, at least go for the interview, go for the real interview, not the one that we keep giving, I mean, keep giving to you during the, for example, workshop sessions. So that is why we make sure that students are, um, there are, or let's say, let me just rephrase it in the other way, that we make sure that um, there are internship opportunities for students even from early year of their study. So by giving this opportunity to students, especially when they enter to university, they can come up with a clearer idea that, okay, fine, I have already chosen this program, but what other possibility is there for me to find a proper job for myself later on in the future? Am I in a right program? Because right now I tried going to this ABCD internship, I tried it and I see that, okay, fine, my program, what kind of relation I can find or what kind of connection I can find from the program that I'm studying and what I experienced in the internship. So we create this kind of awareness, I believe, with students, especially from the first year. And by the time that they reach to year 3 and 4, they realize that, okay, fine, right now, am I in the right track or not? So
Mm.
basically, these are the hints and helps, actually, the assistance that we are giving to students. And we make sure that all students, as soon as they enter to university, as soon as they start term 1, we make sure that they have or they get equal opportunity to do internship works
I
and with
I
different
love
employers.
I love that. Let's talk about that. I know it's a little off topic, but I just think it's a really important one. So let's let's go into equal opportunity. I mean, often I also get into these conversations with career counselors and parents about this idea of equal opportunity. Would you say that I mean, I can understand why we want to do this. I'm all for equal opportunities. In fact, you can see my track record of work. I'm always trying to bring in equitable practice. However, in the world of work, the reality is the equal opportunity is questionable. How do you ensure that when you're working with undergrads that they are gaining equal opportunity, but recognizing that it might be tougher in the outside world than it is in how we kind of bring it together?
Actually, that is why, Maria, I told you how learning or how improving soft skill is, I mean, the importance of learning soft skills is, I mean, it's very essential, I believe. Because, first of all, something good about diversity here in UAE, at least, and universities, is that students get to study with different nationalities and different background, I mean, cultural backgrounds. So they are somehow ready to face diversity, even, I mean, however, they are already facing it in university, but they are also becoming ready to face it in the work environment. Now, having different types of sessions, like diversity, having like different sessions on how to solve conflicts. So these are the fundamentals and the foundations that we can give to students. But again and again, I'm telling you that until and unless students don't start participating and attending internship, let's say, opportunities, they they might know the theory behind it, but when it comes to practice, they can understand it better. And this is where they can test themselves. Am I able to work with diverse? I mean, am I able to work in a diverse environment? Can I get along with, let's say, a manager or a colleague who comes from different cultural background of mine? So again, this one gets back to how they improve their soft skills, their communication skills, their negotiation skills, even. This is important. I mean, we have it all in theory. There are ABCD number of negotiation hints and skills, but then how you are going to practice it. And that can happen once they start their internship, once they are in a real situation that they need to apply all those theories. So again, all of them
Mm.
goes back to soft skill and internship.
So important. Sorry, I'm coughing. I
Yeah,
and
me
I got
too.
coughing as well. We're gonna bring this to a wrap. Really, we're really close to the end, and I mean, we could talk forever. We're both singing the same song. It's always about employability, preparedness, readiness for the youth. But we're talking to an audience that are learning, maybe, or questioning how to help their own children, or even how to enhance the service that they're providing. When you're working with talent finders to help with the internships, what are some of the challenges that they're telling you they're facing to find
Mhm.
the right talent? Because I think if we can help students unwrap the challenges that are being faced, they could work on their own skills and they might be able to kind of rise above in those. So, what are you hearing from the talent finders that you think, hey, undergrads, you need to pay more attention to this?
Okay. Well, career advisors, especially those who work closely with talent finders, such as recruiters and hiring managers, they may learn a lot about qualities and skills that these professionals are looking for in candidates. The first thing that I always face, I mean, especially with talent acquisitions or these, I mean, head or HR managers or those who want to recruit students, is that are they experienced? Do they have high marks? These are the challenges. Okay, why you are looking for high marks? I have a student who is top graduate, but when it comes to sales or when it comes to public speaking, she's silent. Do you want me to give you this type of student which has high marks? Or are you looking for, let's say, a student who has a goal for him or her career? Are you looking for a student who has a good skills in networking? Again, it goes back to soft skill, Maria. Whatever I tell, it goes back, it keeps going back to the soft skills. So the importance of networking, the importance of, let's say, having students who have goal. That is something that I don't see that much in, especially this generation, which is they just say that, okay, fine, it's either my father who opened a company for me, or anyway, the university will find a job for me. But you have to also take some steps toward it, right? So again, I'm emphasizing on the soft skills. So talent finders often look for candidates who have strong soft skills, such as communication, teamwork, problem solving. These are very important. So my suggestion to all talent finders is that don't only look for students who have high grades, because that is just 1/10 of the requirements that students need to have when it comes for them to find a job. So career advisors, let's say such as me, you, or anybody who is working in this field, may encourage undergraduate students to develop these skills and showcase them, especially when they go to any kind of interview. And another thing is that talent finders may also stress the importance of having relevant work experience, such as internship, part-time jobs, which that is why we encourage our students to do internship, because we know that talent finders or companies, they are looking for these type of students who at least have some kind of experience. If in case students don't get a chance to find an internship or any kind of part-time job, what we usually suggest them is that at least be active in university or any kind of activity that students can have inside the university. We have actually student council where it consists of the president, the secretary. There is someone who is in charge of, for example, our social media student platform. So these are the activities that at least students can participate in to learn how they can manage people, students, how they can develop their teamwork skills. So these are the things that I suggest. I mean, and I think that it is important for students and even talent finders to know that internship is there, soft skills is there, but don't only focus on students with high marks. It is important because it shows how hardworking they are, but it is not enough.
Totally. And I love this re-educating talent finders, because we have to be honest, they are the ones that are subtly dictating what parents keep reiterating to their children. And it's that cycle, isn't it? If we're
Yes.
going to help students gain more career readiness, then I think it's important that talent finders are re-educated, because often they don't even think about the transferable skills. They're just looking for, I have to put a degree requirement. Let me just choose something I know, and kind of make it up as we go along. Or maybe that's just what the career practitioner gossip is. Who knows? But listen, Sepideh, we could go on and on and on. There's so much that you brought up today. I really appreciate it. We talked about so many things, from how UAE universities, thank you to the higher education regulators, encouraging and requiring mandatory internships, and how the British University in Dubai are really creating strategies for students to build those networks, build their soft skills, participate in internships, and not just wait till that year 3, as you were saying, but also in your close contact with talent finders and employers, and bringing them into the university. Excellent opportunities. But you know what I heard again and again and again, and without actually you saying the words, but I'm just hearing it, is we could bring all of these opportunities to students. But just like in your example, if we keep pushing students to strive for just the grades without teaching them the soft skills and getting them to really learn how to showcase, we're actually not helping them in that future career job attainment. So what I heard you say is, students, you need to engage. Parents, encourage your children to engage for graduation. Do and talent finders, celebrate those students that do engage and do show up, and stop looking at just the grade, because there's a lot to this. But Sepideh, that is like a trailer version of all the amazing things you told me today. Just before we say goodbye, you could offer parents with an undergraduate one final tip, because I ask you that question because what I think, in my experience, what I've seen is that in high school, in secondary school, parents are really, really trying to support their children. When they get to graduate from university, there's the assumption that this young adult, 21, 22, 23, should have it figured out, but no one along the way really helped them. So if you could offer parents with their children in university right now, getting closer to graduating, what can you offer them to help them get ready for that first job?
Sorry, Maria, because I mean, I couldn't hear you properly. Can you just repeat it again?
Yes, sorry.
I think it's lagging. Sorry, your face just freezed for a while.
Don't you love live? Everyone out there, I love live. I'm not going to go into my long version. I think
No, no,
my
no, no.
quick
Only the
version.
last part, I believe, that to parents, and then suddenly it freezes.
Sorry, I'm laughing and coughing.
No,
I
it's
love live. I love live. What I asked was one top tip for parents with adult children who are graduating from university, how can they help them find that first job or prepare for that first job?
Okay. One important hint is that parents, first of all, don't focus only on on your kids to graduate,
Mm,
but having them um, participating in internship. For example, why I'm telling this to you is that I see some of students, they find some internship opportunities, but then they said that, oh, it's difficult. Transportation is difficult for us. So as a parent, support them. Don't think that, okay, only providing this is something simple, Maria, but it's important. Only because of transportation, students says, oh, okay, fine, because it's difficult for us to have transportation, I'm not going to do this internship. But for parents, believe me, guys, parents, I'm also a mother. I understand that this generation, the way that how we find jobs, the way that how we are employed is way too different from how these kids are going to find jobs and how these kids are going to find work and even start working in any organization. The way that they communicate, the language that they use, not as a words that they are using, but the communication language that they use is very different. So I suggest parents not to force their kids to only focus on their study, but at the same time encourage them. Definitely, all parents are working. They can use their networks to see whether they can have their children work. I don't know, anywhere that they might, for example, see that, okay, fine, my for example son or my daughter can learn how the work environment is. You know, my son, he's 3 years old, but most of the time I tell my husband, could you please take him to office? Could you please at least, and he knows the meaning of office, you know, because I sometimes I bring him here at the British, I mean at work. So, and I keep telling him that, look, mommy is working. Look, this is not mommy's friend. This is not uncle. This is mommy's colleague, for example. So I start telling him that, look, this is how the work environment looks like, because definitely for them everything would be different, especially Maria, after what happened from I mean the pandemic, because the workforce has completely changed. The places, the work office, the offices has changed completely. Everything has become something else, and all of them requires new skills to be learned. I think you're mute, Maria. Sorry.
there's so much we can get into, so many different things, but I love that you brought that up. That's a whole different conversation. It's about bringing the world of work to young people and not waiting for graduation for that to happen. So definitely something very important. Sepideh, we could talk forever, but we are going to bring it to a wrap right now. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't know what happened
Thank
to
you
our
so much.
headlines and our names, but anyone watching this right now, we have Sepideh Samadi, who is the career advisor and a lecturer at the British University in Dubai. My name is Maria Viteratos, but I'm known as Ms.V. And I am saying thank you, everyone, for watching, whether you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. Thank you for watching. And we will see you next month when we bring another incredible conversation to Let's Talk Careers. Thank you, Samadi.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Maria, and have a nice day. Bye bye.